The frost still clung to the grass in pale threads, the air sharp with the smell of wood smoke from chimneys across the valley. Deputy Joel Warren sat on the station's front steps, coffee cooling in his hand. His K-9 partner, Hawk, sprawled at his boots. For hours, the shepherd hadn't so much as twitched, just watched the empty road with that still, unnerving patience of his. Then at 10:14 a.m., the blue sedan rolled by. Hawk's head snapped up. A low growl hummed in his chest. Joel didn't recognize the car, but Hawk did. If you enjoy tense, true-feeling stories like this, keep following along. The car was nothing special. Rust flecked the wheel wells. A thin crack zigzagged to the windshield, catching the weak winter light. Still, Hawk's low growl deepened until it was almost vibration under Joel's boots. Joel straightened, setting the coffee aside. "What is it, boy?" he murmured. The blue sedan kept a steady 40 down Main Street, tires whispering over frost-tipped asphalt. Joel tracked it as it passed, the driver's face momentarily framed in the windshield. A man in his 40s, pale, with sunken cheeks and a thick beard peppered in gray. His eyes, though, were the thing. They flicked toward Joel and Hawk, and even from 20 yards away, Joel felt that split-second flash of recognition or calculation. The sedan rolled past, taillights glowing dimly in the morning haze. Hawk stood now, muscles taut, ears sharp forward. Joel's radio crackled from his hip. "Unit 3, you copy?" He thumbed the mic. "Go ahead." "Got a minor fender bender out by Willow Creek Road. Nothing urgent, but your closest." Joel hesitated, gaze still fixed on the blue sedan, disappearing around the bend. "Copy," he said finally. He clipped the radio back and glanced down at Hawk. The dog hadn't looked away from the road. The drive to Willow Creek took 15 minutes. The accident was just as dispatch said. 2 locals, arguing over whose fault it was. No injuries. No damage worth reporting. Joel kept it short, wrote up a statement, and sent them on their way. On the way back, he detoured to the south end of town, hoping, though he couldn't have explained why, to see that sedan again. It wasn't there. When he pulled back into the station, Hawk didn't leap out of the cruiser like he usually did. He climbed down slow, scanning the road again, tail low, nostrils twitching. Joel had worked with Hawk for 4 years. He trusted the dog's instincts more than most people's. And whatever Hawk had seen in that car, it had hit deep. That night, the wind carried a different edge, colder, wilder. Joel lay in bed, staring at the shadowed ceiling, Hawk asleep at the foot, when his phone buzzed. It was Deputy Karen Holt. "You awake?" she asked, voice tight. "Yeah. What's going on?" "You still at the station earlier when that blue sedan went by?" Joel's chest tightened. "Yeah. Why?" "Got a call from Marla Thomas out on Miller's Road. She says a car like that parked across from her place for about 20 minutes. Engine running. Driver never got out. Then it pulled away toward the ridge." The ridge. That stretch of road went nowhere but the old quarry. Joel swung his legs out of bed. "I'm heading out there now." The cruiser's headlights cut a pale tunnel through the dark. Hawk sat forward in the back, eyes fixed on the road, a quiet tension in his body. Frost glittered along the fences, the trees skeletal in the moonlight. When Joel turned onto the ridge road, his tires crunched over the thin crust of ice. He slowed, scanning the ditches, the shoulders. No blue sedan. No tire tracks. But Hawk started to whine, soft, insistent, nose pressed against the window. Joel pulled over. "You smell something?" The dog's answer was to paw at the glass. Joel killed the engine, stepped out into the cold. His breath came in white bursts as he walked to the shoulder. Hawk leapt from the cruiser, nose to the ground immediately, tracing an invisible trail toward the tree line. The moon slipped behind a cloud, swallowing the light. Somewhere in the dark ahead, a branch snapped. Joel's hand went to his sidearm. Hawk, heal. But the dog didn't heal. He froze. And then he lowered his head, teeth bared, and growled at something Joel couldn't yet see. When the cloud shifted, moonlight spilled back across the clearing. And there, half hidden behind a tangle of dead brush, was a shape, metal glinting faintly. The blue sedan. Its driver's door hung open. The wind carried a faint sound to Joel's ears then, just enough to prickle his skin, a slow, dragging scrape. Someone was moving out there. The scrape stopped the moment Joel shifted his weight. He kept his voice low. "Stay," he told Hawk, but the shepherd ignored him, slipping into the shadows with a kind of deliberate silence Joel could never match. Joel followed, one slow step at a time, scanning the tree line. The sedan's door swayed on its hinges, squeaking faintly. From here, he could see the frost melting on the hood. The car hadn't been here long. Another noise, this one softer, like fabric dragging over bark. Joel eased toward it, sidearm ready. Hawk was ahead now, head low, tail stiff, every movement taut with purpose. A figure emerged from behind the sedan. Man mid-40s, same beard, same eyes Joel had glimpsed on Main Street. Only now, they darted quick, calculating routes. The man froze when he saw Joel, then bolted into the woods. "Hawk, go!" The shepherd launched forward, a blur of black and tan. Joel tore after them, branches whipping his face, the frozen ground slick under his boots. Hawk's barks echoed ahead, sharp and furious. They caught him 30 yards in. Hawk had the man pinned against a fallen log, teeth at his sleeve but not breaking skin. Controlled, waiting for Joel's command. "Don't move." Joel warned, breath steaming. The man's eyes were wild. "Call him off. He's going to kill me." "Not unless you give him a reason." The man's gaze flicked around the woods, as if expecting someone or something to come help. Joel cuffed him, patted him down. No wallet, no phone, just a folded scrap of paper in his breast pocket. Joel pulled it out, a hand-drawn map. He recognized the shape instantly. The bend of Miller's Creek, the ridge road, the quarry marked with an X. "What's at the quarry?" Joel asked. The man said nothing, but his jaw flexed, the kind of tension that said more than I'm telling you. At the station, Karen met Joel at the door, arms folded tight against the cold. "Who is he?" she asked. "No ID yet." "Says nothing." Karen glanced at Hawk, who sat by the cruiser, gaze still fixed on the man even as he was led inside. "You realize Hawk's been acting off all week? Like he's been waiting for something." Joel thought back. Hawk hadn't touched his breakfast the past 3 mornings, had slept by the window instead of his crate. Even now, the dog wasn't pacing or barking, just watching, studying. It wasn't until the booking room door closed behind the man that Hawk finally relaxed. Joel drove home late, the map in his coat pocket. He set it on his kitchen table, stared at the X over quarry. There hadn't been anything out there for 20 years, just rusted equipment, half-flooded pits. But something about the man's reaction when Joel asked. Hawk padded into the kitchen, sat beside Joel, eyes level. "You've seen him before, haven't you?" Joel murmured. "When?" The dog tilted his head, ears twitching toward the window. Joel followed his gaze. Out across the darkened valley, a single set of headlights moved slowly along the ridge road, too slow for someone just passing through. By morning, frost lay thick over the town. Joel found Karen in the parking lot, leaning against her cruiser, sipping coffee. "You ever hear about Hawk's first handler?" she asked without preamble. Joel frowned. "Before me?" "Yeah, Deputy Ron Davis. Retired early after an injury. Moved out west. But before he left, Hawk was involved in a case. Kidnapping, I think. Never made the papers. Davis kept it quiet." Joel's mind clicked through the possibilities. "And you think that's where he knows our guy from?" Karen shrugged. "Could be. But you know Davis. He won't talk unless he wants to." They drove to the quarry together. The place was colder than the rest of the valley. Shadows clinging to the water-filled pit. Near the old access road, Hawk pulled ahead, nose to the ground. He led them to a narrow strip of earth where the frost had been disturbed. Joel knelt, brushing away leaves. Beneath was a patch of disturbed soil. Not fresh, but not old either. Karen scanned the tree line. "Someone's been digging here." Before Joel could answer, Hawk moved again, straight toward the edge of the pit. His ears went back, and he began barking toward the far bank. A figure stood there, half shrouded in mist, watching them. The figure didn't run. He just turned and walked into the trees, disappearing like smoke. Joel and Karen scrambled back to their cruisers, but the ridge road was empty when they got there. Whoever it was, they knew the trails too well. Back at the station, Joel called Davis. The old deputy's voice was gravel. "Joel, been a while. I've got a man in custody." Hawk reacted to him, like he knew him, and I've got a feeling this ties back to something from before my time. Silence. Then describe him. Joel did. Another silence. Longer this time. "You need to let that one go, Joel," Davis said finally. "If Hawk see him before, it was a long time ago. And trust me, you don't want to reopen that case." Joel hung up unsettled. Hawk lay at his feet, eyes half closed but ears still twitching toward every sound outside. Whatever this was, Hawk hadn't just remembered a man. He'd remembered a threat. And now, Joel was starting to believe the threat wasn't gone. The snow came in thin, wind-blown flurries at night, swirling across Main Street and settling in the cracks between the boards of the station porch. Joel sat inside at his desk, the map open in front of him, the X over the quarry marked darker from the times he'd traced it with his thumb. Hawk lay on the floor, chin resting on his paws, eyes open. In the holding cell, the man they'd caught by the ridge, still no name, leaned against the wall, watching Joel every time he walked past, a faint smile playing on his lips. At 1:13 a.m., the station phone rang. Joel picked it up on the first ring. A woman's voice, low, shaking. "You have him. Don't let him go." "Who is this?" Joel asked. The line went dead. By morning, the man had posted bail, paid in cash by someone who never came inside. Joel stepped outside just in time to see him getting into a pickup with darkly tinted windows. Hawk lunged against a leash, barking like he'd been waiting all night to do it. Joel didn't have a legal reason to stop them. Not yet. Karen appeared beside him, coffee in hand. They're heading toward the South Road. "The quarry," Joel said. The drive out was tense. Joel didn't speak. Karen didn't push. Hawk stood in the back, staring out the window, ears forward. They parked 2 bends short of the quarry and went on foot. The snow muffled their steps. The only sound, Hawk's steady breathing. They saw the pickup first, backed in under pines. No one inside. Hawk pulled them toward the pit. The man stood at the quarry's edge with another figure, shorter, broad-shouldered, wearing a heavy coat. A third person crouched at the ground, a shovel in their hands. Joel's heart slammed when he saw the mound they were digging into. It was the same disturbed patch Hawk had found before. Only now, the hole was wider. Joel motioned Karen left, circling to cut off an escape. The wind shifted, carrying a smell Joel recognized instantly. Rot, faint but unmistakable. "Hands up." Joel's voice cracked across the pit. The shorter figure turned. For a second, Joel's brain refused to place the face. Older now, hair gone white, a jagged scar along his jaw. But then recognition landed like a punch. Ron Davis, Hawk's first handler. He didn't raise his hands. Just stared at Joel, something between regret and defiance in his eyes. "You shouldn't be here, Joel," Davis said. "What the hell is this?" The man from the ridge laughed under his breath. "You think your dog's the only one with a memory?" Karen came up behind them, weapon trained. Stepped back from the hole. Davis glanced down at the half-dug pit. Snow had settled into the folds of a blue tarp. Something about the shape beneath it twisted Joel's gut. "You remember the Miller girl?" Davis asked quietly. Joel did. 15 years ago. Disappeared walking home from school. Case never solved. "This isn't what it looks like," Davis said. "Looks like you're digging her up?" Joel shot back. The ridge man spat into the snow. "She's not the only one here." He yanked the tarp back. Joel saw a second, smaller bundle underneath, wrapped tight in plastic sheeting. The smell hit harder now. Karen swore under her breath. Davis raised his hand slowly. They weren't supposed to find this. Hawk was there that night. He tracked her to my truck. I told myself it was a mistake, that the scent was wrong. The ridge man grinned. "But you knew better." Joel's mind spun. Hawk had known. Not the face. At least, not at first. But the smell, the way a dog's memory could cling to scent for years. The Ridge Man had been there that night, and Davis had covered for him. "You betrayed the badge," Joel said, voice low. Davis didn't deny it. "I kept it quiet to protect someone. My brother." The Ridge Man's smile widened. Family's family. The next second were chaos. The Ridge Man shoved Davis hard into Joel, sending them both sideways. Hawk lunged, teeth catching the man's arm. The shovel clattered to the ice. Karen shouted, gun trained, but couldn't get a clear shot. Joel scrambled up, yanked Hawk back just as the man drew a knife. The blade flashed toward Joel. Then Hawk was there, slamming into the man's chest, driving him back into the snow. When it was over, the man lay cuffed, gasping, blood on his coat where Hawk had caught him. Davis stood a few yards away, hands on his head, eyes on the tarp. By the time backup arrived, the wind had erased most of their footprints. The bodies were taken out under sheets. Davis was led away in silence. Hawk sat at the edge of the pit, staring into the black water below, ears twitching in the gusts. Joel crouched beside him, resting a hand on his neck. "You remembered," he said quietly. The dog didn't move, just kept watching the pit, as if waiting for something else to surface. 2 weeks later, the quarry was fenced off. The county declared it unsafe, but Joe knew it was more than that. People didn't want to remember what had come out of that ground. In the evenings, he'd find Hawk at the window again, watching the road. The dog no longer waited all day for a certain car to pass, but the vigilance was still there. Joel understood it now. Some things never really leave. You just learn to live beside them. And sometimes, the only one who'll still be looking is the one who's been watching all along.